Class, welcome back to part 2 of our two-point perspective city drawings. Last time we went ahead, we created two buildings, our road that was created by using our vanishing points and our horizon line. Today what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to add a sidewalk in through here, and we're also going to go ahead and add a couple buildings on either side. Now, first thing we want to do is when we make a sidewalk, is we want to go ahead and we want to find this point right here. I like to call it the bottom portion of the M that we made when we created our road. We're going to go ahead and take this point right here, and we're going to drop another point, probably about, if you want to measure this, you can. I like to eyeball it. Probably about anywhere from a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch right there. I want to go ahead and take this new point that we put in here, and I want to take my ruler, and I'm going to match it up to vanishing point A. Now, once again, remember, draw very lightly. It's easier to erase in case you have to erase your lines. And I'm also going to go ahead and draw a line over here to vanishing point B as well. Yeah, we want to make sure that B gets some of the attention as well. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of add that line right through there. Now, we have a V shape here. We want to go ahead, we want to put in the lines that go in between our sidewalk slats. So to do that, it becomes a little tricky. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put lines on this side first. And to do that, I want to take my ruler, okay? I want to line up the bottom side of my ruler on vanishing point A. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start down here, all right, where that building kind of meets the sidewalk, okay? You can kind of see that, got a little space right here. Now, I like to use the bottom side of the ruler because then I get to see how far apart those lines are. Now, it comes a little tricky. You want to think of it this way. Your ruler is never going to leave this spot on vanishing point A. Always want to make sure it stays there. Think of it like a hand of a clock. Rotates up, back and forth. Of course, it doesn't rotate back in time, but it goes ahead and rotates around like this. Okay? I'm going to go ahead, always keep it on that point. And what I'm going to start doing is this. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to draw a line right here in between these two lines that were created for the sidewalk, just like that. Now, as I do that, I'm going to rotate my ruler up. Once again, give a little space here. It's kind of up to you as far as how much space you give. Okay, I'm going to do this. Little line there. I'm going to rotate it up again. Boom. And I'm just going to keep rotating up. Notice my ruler's always staying on vanishing point A, never moving. I'm going to rotate it up some more. All right, I'm going to have to move it back a little bit though. I'm running out of room on this right-hand side here. There we go. Always staying on vanishing point A. Okay. I'm just going to keep putting these lines. And as you get higher up, you're going to notice that your lines on your sidewalk are basically starting to kind of flatten out. They're almost becoming more and more parallel with your horizon line. Oh my goodness. All right, sometimes when I get all the way to the top here too, they get so small I just kind of cheat a little bit and I put them in myself. All right, so we got that on that side. We're going to do the same thing now. Once again, we want to give some love to vanishing point B. And we're going to go ahead and line up a ruler on vanishing point B, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start out putting my line here, always keep my ruler on vanishing point B, and you're just going to go ahead and rotate it up. Just rotate it up. All right, it becomes very repetitious. But if you get this down, it becomes easy peasy. All right. Now, sometimes I like to do this too. Where I had my alleyway that I put in between my buildings, I'll go ahead and kind of put a few lines on either side where that alleyway is. And then I'm going to show you something that's kind of fun. Looks like you almost have a road here when I get done doing the sidewalk. I'll go ahead and show you this. All right, we're going to go ahead and add these other lines. We're going to go ahead and do this. And once again, they're starting to flatten out a little bit. I'm trying to go a little fast here too so I can get you guys onto the other buildings. All right, boom. And we are done. All right. Now, what I like to do is this. I like to race these two lines right through here. So it almost looks like you got a little road that goes up in between your buildings. Very cool. All right. So there we go. We now have two buildings, sidewalk, and a road. Now we're going to go ahead and add buildings on either side. We're going to put one building above the horizon line and one building below. So let's start over here. Let's go ahead and let's put a building above the horizon line over here by vanishing point A. To do this, on the side of the paper, we want to draw two horizontal parallel lines. And we also want to make sure we have a vertical line, just one vertical line connecting those two lines coming up. All right, look at it. Straight across, straight up and down, okay? 2 vertical, 2 horizontal lines. Now, next thing I want to do is this. I want to go ahead and I'm going to take these 2 points right here, a little point, little corner here, a little corner here. I'm going to take each one of those corners and very lightly we are going to draw a line back to vanishing point A. Very lightly, okay? Hopefully you can see it. Oh, you guys can see that, you bet. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Draw a line down to vanishing point A. Boom, just like that. Now, once we get this done, we want to go and we want to determine how long our building is. Now, this is the front of our building. This will be the side. We want to determine the side here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my ruler, all right, line it up on my vertical line that I drew to make my box here. I'm going to slide it straight up and down closer to vanishing point A. And I'm going to stop about right here. This is entirely up to you as far as how big you make your building. I'm going to go ahead and put a line here. And right now, I got the front and the side of my buildings, or it depends how you look at it. But you should have 2 sides of your building. Now, we'd have some cleaning up to do. So what we want to do is this. This is our horizon line. It's behind our building. We want to go ahead and erase that. And we also want to go ahead and erase our 2 lines that continue onto our vanishing point that we don't need anymore. Okay? Those are just guidelines to kind of help us out. Hence, once again, that's why we draw light. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3 buildings. Now, one thing that was different about drawing this building is we only used 1 point perspective with just 1 vanishing point. These 2 buildings used both vanishing points because they were in the middle. This one on the side used 1. Looks a lot nicer when you just use 1 point vanishing point on the side buildings. And that's just one thing to kind of keep in mind. You put your buildings on the side, just use the 1 vanishing point. Now let's go over here. We're going to go ahead and put a building over here by B. This one's going to be below the horizon line. We're going to once again start out like we did before. Oop, I want to start out like I did before. We're going to draw in 2 horizontal parallel lines and 1 vertical line connecting it up. Now, the big difference between this one, because it's below the horizon line, we need to have a roof. So we're going to take these 2 points again, but also to a point that comes over here where the line goes off the paper. We want to go ahead, we want to take our ruler, okay, and we're going to match it up to vanishing point B. Once again, drawing lightly. I'm almost drawing too lightly here, I think. All right, draw these 2 lines to vanishing point B, and then finally a 3rd line. Remember that other point here, that point that went off the paper? We're coming close to going off the paper. I also want to draw a light line right there. Okay, so if you look at it, you got your 3 lines, okay, you got the side of your building. Taking my ruler now, like we did before, line it up to the vertical line here on the side, slide it closer to your vanishing point, straight up and down. Now we want to put a line on the top. Now watch, this is where it gets tricky. A lot of people have a hard time following this. Take your ruler now on the top of your building, slide it back, and where you come to the other, that last line you drew for the side of your building, you want to go ahead and put a line straight across. So notice this. This is almost like a right angle right here. Has to be repeated the same back here. All right, nice right angle. And the same thing like we did before, you can go ahead and erase your lines that you don't need anymore. They were guidelines anyways. So we're going to go ahead and erase those, and we should be good to go. So right now, if we look at this, let me go ahead and blow off my eraser shavings. We have 4 buildings, a road, and a sidewalk. Very cool. So now we've got the foundations for our city. Next video we're going to start doing is we're going to start putting in some detail, go over windows and doors, and maybe do some architectural patterns.